It is March 14th. We'll go ahead and get our Facilities Committee and Transportation Committee started. Kevin Strobel, let's introduce ourselves, please.
Russ Jarrett.
Julia Olson.
Kristen Thompson.
Brett Cooper.
Brian Cavallo.
Rob Hurley.
Angela Owens.
Okay. We'll go ahead and jump right in. It's HVAC update.
Some of this is in follow-up to the previous meeting. Our high school classroom 232 and middle school classroom 220 were diagnosed needing full unit replacements given the component failures and the age of the equipment. So that was board approved. The equipment has been ordered and we are waiting for that to arrive before it can be installed. The middle school repairs to 3 different rooftop units for compressor replacements. Those are heat pumps as previously noted. Compressors are required for both heating and cooling. We're hoping to have those repairs completed this week.
Now, they are actually repairs then, not replacements. And the
Correct.
first room 232 and 220, is that one unit or are they splits?
They're one.
They're one unit. And which building is that?
232 in the high school
Oh, it's all in high school. Okay,
and 220 in the middle school.
in the middle school.
Water source units.
Gotcha.
The next item, the middle school, variable frequency drive for the heating and cooling loop. So the variable frequency drive controls a 125 horse water pump. We had the drive diagnosed by Berkshire Mechanical and it is not repairable and needs to be replaced at the cost of $15,790.
That's just for water circulation, for heat and air?
Heating and cooling.
Heating and cooling.
So if anyone doesn't know that VFD, the variable frequency drive, that controls the demand of the motor based on the demand of the heating and cooling load of the building. And it'll regulate the output voltage, and that's where we see our energy savings. So we're not running that pump at 100% capacity all day, every day.
It's designed to help us save money.
Correct.
15,000.
That's what I have in my house.
That's a
So
pretty
we
big
will-
You might as well just save the 15,000 and just run
So
it.
they're going to put a bid in on that? Is that what happened then? Or,
That was.
oh, it was a bid. That was the bid. Was it actually exactly 15? Are we going to have to put that on the voting for tonight?
That
or
has to go to vote.
when?
Is that going to be this
The end
month?
of the month.
End of the month. Okay, that's what I thought.
We can do it as an,
That's total, that's
if
total
we're,
package
if we're,
cost.
if we're, advocating for it at a committee, we can, get it on as an act consent financial
Tonight.
full on, because we're not voting tonight.
Right, our next voting meeting, but if you want to put it on that, bless you, I'm going to need an exact number. So we can put it on,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
And which,
And I
I
don't-
apologize, which building is that?
middle school.
Middle school.
Middle school, correct.
I'm not really sure we have a choice. I mean,
That's a critical component.
absolutely. Is it heating now?
Yes, so
It's just
the
limping?
building is set up with a redundant system. So we are running on one pump and one drive.
Okay,
And we do not have the ability to control that pump.
Right, it's 100%
Something
all
else
the
fails.
time.
right.
Right.
If-
The pump does work, I verified that. The pump will work if we manually do it, but
Right. So it's just the variable drive.
Does,
yes.
does it impact the running of just the heat system or heat and AC?
Heating and cooling.
That's what I thought. If it's approved at the end, meeting at the end of the month, what is that, the 28th, I guess, what's the do we just have to wait until we get it approved before we can get on a schedule so we have an idea when it's going to be worked on?
Correct.
Or, okay.
Because there's going to be a lead time to get the drive.
But, but we have heat now.
We are maintaining.
Right. But it's also putting wear and tear on that pump.
Well,
That's also a variable frequency pump?
Yes, that one pump and that one drive is bearing the entire load, and typically it's set up to split the load
Yeah,
between
okay.
the two systems.
You can't run both of them at 100%? I'm just saying,
Well, we can manually go in and turn it on, turn it off, if we had to.
okay. You'd have to, it couldn't run and just circulate but not heat the room? Because
It could.
okay.
Anyway, I would be ideal for cost saving is if we could get on the schedule during the middle months, the spring months, instead of, waiting until waiting until summer when it's
When
the cooling system won't be able to keep up. I don't think in the same way the heating system could.
They can,
We could potentially run into a problem
Yep.
if we encounter any more mechanical issues,
Right.
and then we don't have anything to
That's
fall
what I
back
mean.
on.
It's like,
So-
I mean, if it is approved, it'd be good if it could be done before May.
did they
That's my
indicate
thought.
to you that when we approved it, what type of an ETA for an install? I mean, can they get the part, number one? 'Cause that's the
They
big
don't know.
problem,
They cannot get the exact replacement. They had to discuss that with the manufacturer and get a like drive that would work with that system.
Right. And then two,
Right now, even with the equipment orders that we ordered for the high school and the middle school, 232 and 220, those are 10-week lead times right now.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
So
So the OEM.
That's where I was going with
doesn't
it.
have
I'm just
the
saying,
Absolutely.
we could find the part and they couldn't get to us for 12 weeks. I don't know what their schedule
the
is.
technology has grown so much in 20 years that, those Danfoss drives are getting apples to apples is just not going to happen.
Right, that's what I was
Right.
saying, the OEM didn't have the part, but it's a 20-year-old part.
Yes.
Right. Gotcha.
They are original to the building.
Got it.
Well, we know we're not going to have to replace that.
They don't
one
last
for 20
forever.
years.
So it's a 19-year-old part.
Brad will be getting sunburned down in Florida.
Let the record show.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think we should,
I would advocate if that's the, if we've already gone through the bid process and that's,
Before summer.
yeah, to get it done as soon as possible. We're
It's-
not voting, we don't have a voting meeting.
we
on
don't
the
have a
agenda.
voting meeting, so it would be
So it'll be
very,
the 20th.
next voting. Yep. Okay.
As long as, that would be, I would want to vote it out of committee.
Yep.
I would be a yes.
Can he at least line it up, not line it up to purchase, but just make sure? like,
Nope.
Nope.
No,
can't do it.
nothing, huh? Okay.
So does the committee agree that we need to,
Sorry.
does the committee agree that we need to get this?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Everybody? Okay. Like I said, I need an exact amount from you on that. Like if it's 15,800, I mean, I think we could do it up to
15,790.
That's what
790.
I heard. Yeah.
790, yep. You have to make sure I'm looking at you because I might not be paying attention at all. It's a skill that I learned over the years.
My next topic is here at the high school. We've had Berkshire Mechanical and Train Building Solutions, who we're under contract with on the control side of things, evaluating our chiller system and components. And this is an issue that has gone on for a repair that's been needed for at least over a year, to my knowledge, with the annex, the chiller at the annex side beside the building, and the VFD for the chilled water pump. So there's two critical repairs that need to be made. One is we need to replace the drive. That was also diagnosed, and we,
On this side of the building, the annex side.
yes.
It has nothing to do with, Rob, remember we had the one in this building, there was all the,
Yeah, that was on this side of the building, and in particular, yes, the answer to the
so
question.
it's
We had,
different one, okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't
Yeah.
confused, and I'm okay. So what needs to be replaced on it,
The variable frequency drive
again?
for that chilled water pump,
Is that a 19-year-old unit, so
I'm sure that's older than that.
it is older than, I don't have the specific year on it, but That's going to come at a cost of $6,025.
Whoa, get 2 of those and,
So you're gonna buy one, get one half.
what is buy 2 of those?
I feel like I'm in the wrong business.
So is that, did you say that's for D annex? For what was the old middle school, or?
No, this is the
In the
annex
high
here.
school.
Annex
High
back.
school.
Yeah, this used to
Oh.
be middle school. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Had to be
so it's on this side, okay.
Correct,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Wow.
And
Going back
you
into
didn't know
history. No, I had no idea.
The second part of this equation is a repair to the chiller, one of the compressors in the chiller itself. So the chiller is composed of 2 large-scale compressors, and right now we're only running on 1 compressor.
Has that been that way for a while or just recently?
Correct.
Oh, it's just been that way when you got here? Running on one
Correct.
compressor?
How many chillers does this building have?
2.
And so this is like, one of them is running on half of its,
This is the original annex.
okay, yeah, over there, yeah.
Do you have any idea when it was turned off? Did anybody, nobody knows when it was turned off? We just,
I do not know.
okay.
how
So do you
long
have 2 chillers, what, you rotate them typically? I mean, do you
Well,
typically
they
flip?
serve 2 separate entities
Oh.
in the building.
Oh, so you have to run them.
This is maybe a stupid question, but it can run on one. It was
It can
designed to run on
one
2.
compressor.
So, what's the benefit of running it on 2? Do they run at 50% capacity? Do they vary?
Correct.
Do they share the load, so to
They
speak?
Yeah.
split the load.
Right, because you said they were on variable drives too, right?
Correct.
Right, okay. So I'll
And then
fix
the
that.
other problem we run into is if compressor number 1 decides to break down, then we can't
You're
run it
done.
all.
Can't run it all. The other question I have is what's the VFD in that thing look like? Because I'm sure they have a VFD for
The
both,
the
2 of them?
VFD on that one is smaller, a smaller scale compared to that, for that chiller pump
Okay.
than it is in the middle school. It's a little bit.
No, I meant like, in other words, the chiller for the annex, we need a chiller, we need a VFD for $6,025. Is that VFD for both compressors, or is there a VFD
That's-
for each compressor,
That's for the pump, the chilled water pump
right?
for the chiller system.
Okay, I got you.
And so
How much is the compressor?
the compressor
So-
for the main part of the building.
The repairs to the compressor are actually on the unloaders and the solenoid valves that need to be replaced that aren't functioning. And that involves a cost of $2,752.
Yeah, the numbers are getting better each time.
I think you should start here and then go the direction.
I figured I'd end up on a little bit better note.
So when we're done putting the compressor in, putting the VFD in, this other compressor, we've worked on that one. I mean, we rented something for a long time.
We rented a chiller.
Right, and that
yeah.
one's completely repaired now, right? Was it replaced?
Yes.
Did we replace that?
Yes, it was replaced.
So we replaced that one, so we should be good for a while with chillers in this building.
Yeah, until next time. Until something else breaks.
Yep.
Yeah, we haven't heard about the library situation. So that's not.
That's what we were going for.
So again,
I would authorize making this repair. I would feel that
we don't have it, yeah, some of the stuff, I mean, Kathleen, didn't we park some money for some of these types of things that are coming up anyway?
Yes, we do have a capital reserve.
Okay.
One more item. Since I've been here, I've noticed that there was no boiler maintenance done this past year, prior to my arrival. In doing more research, there's no boiler maintenance and cleaning being done. And that's something that Halter Maintenance is not capable of doing.
What, a hot water boiler or a boiler, like to provide heat and steam? What does it run on?
Natural gas,
Which buildings?
all of them.
All of them.
But hold
So it
on.
provides steam and
We don't have steam.
supplemental heat.
This is natural gas though, right?
It's natural gas fed boilers.
Did we have it done last year?
water.
No, we don't, so he's saying that we don't have a PM plan.
Right, but with natural gas, like, I mean,
You
it's
don't-
not like a
You
oil
have-
burner where you have to have it done
if
every
you wanna
year.
have a
I mean, it's
boiler-
very minimal.
Yeah, if you want to have a boiler and you need to have,
There's
depending
also-
on how big are they?
I couldn't even tell you off the top of my head.
They need to be maintenance, but I'm just saying though,
Like,
as a,
depending on how big they are, it could be every year, or it could be up to every 5 years, depending on how big it is. Who are you thinking about using?
why can't Holters do it? They're doing our maintenance and repair. I mean, that's what,
Cracking open a boiler and, you
It's-
know, there's like significant issues sometimes with, you know,
Okay.
confined space, and if, you know, if they don't have their guys trained.
I got you.
They're not trained on that.
Okay, well, that's,
Am
that kind of
I
settles it then.
misspeaking there when I said that?
No, you're okay.
Okay.
There's a safety aspect to that. There's safety checks that need to happen with those boilers.
Do we have any, did we do it before, ever? I mean, do we have a bill somewhere, sitting somewhere that we did this?
If you remember Blankenmiller, the boiler person.
Do we have a
Yeah,
Sorry?
I'm pretty sure it passed.
That was Casey's background, he owned a company.
Casey.
Oh, so it says Casey left, we haven't had it done.
Through my
That was
conversations,
his, that was
it
his
was done
background.
in the past.
Okay.
How long ago was
Casey
that?
used to do it,
2.5 years.
He's been
3 years?
maybe.
So these things
Okay.
haven't been
Okay,
Well,
so
we ran into some issues where we had to make some repairs. And
who are you thinking about using?
Berkshire gave me the most competitive price. Berkshire Mechanical.
Did you check with Bonfito?
I did not check with Bonfito, no.
Alright, okay,
We
so
can-
I'm sorry, go ahead and tell me what Berkshire said.
So they gave us a price of $3,780 to
Per or each for all of them?
to perform the boiler preventative maintenance for the entire district at each building, which includes hot water heaters.
What is their recommendation for how often to get it done?
They would love to do it every year.
Yes, I know, but,
I
I guess
think-
it depends on the size, it's like whether or not, I could be comfortable with every other or third year.
Well, what's the manufacturer recommendation?
That's what, and that depends on the size.
Typically, the
Right, but what-
manufacturers are recommending this service be done once a year.
On a propane boiler. Wow, that blows me away. I believe you, but it's just, that doesn't, there's no dirt. I mean, the emission's water. You don't,
But,
there's no heads to clog. I mean, I know that we need to look at them, there's all kinds of components in there, but
you
if
know,
it's annual, it's annual.
You know, so our boilers aren't regulated for emissions because we are an institutional facility, an education facility. But if they are not, if they're not maintained and if the flame pattern isn't adjusted every year and all the little,
This,
yeah, all that
this
stuff.
goes as far as cleaning the food pipes, adjusting linkages, checking parameters of the system, checking all the safety reliefs.
How many are there for $3,800? I mean, it seems reasonable. The
It isn't
entire
that bad.
district gets done for $3,780. I mean,
That's a little
it's a
less than
preventative
$1,000.
maintenance thing. I agree with it, but,
It's a little less than $1,000 a piece, right?
and that includes what else?
It's actually a little bit cheaper than that. If you look into some of the buildings, they have smaller space saver boilers.
Right.
As opposed to the old large capacity boilers.
So it's every single boiler in the school gets done for $3,780. That's a no-brainer.
All the
No,
boilers
I thought-
plus the natural gas and water heaters, they go through the same safety checks and cleaning.
Is this the equivalent of a preventative maintenance agreement, basically, with this group? Or,
This is just a 1-year preventative maintenance on the boilers
okay,
to ensure that we're going to be able to operate 100% in the fall and
Bless
start the boilers up.
if we locked in for more than 1 year, do we get a price break? Is there,
I am sure that that's negotiable if we were to
I mean, I-
look into that.
I manage a club, I mean,
Gotta
a lot of
have
my
it started
questions.
first this year.
My thought process behind this is I would like to see this done by whoever is holding the maintenance contract in the district. I feel that that's something that they should be
Great.
capable of doing. So, for the sake of 1 year and it not being done in over a year, I think this is the best solution to ensure that we're going to be safe.
think it's,
All right, I'm not trying to be, like, we have like maintenance people that work at our club, for example, right? But they're not the ones that go down and do the chiller or the hot water unit. We have special people that come in for preventative maintenance, so I don't know if that's,
I think it's a different type of contract over here.
yeah, maybe it
Just
is.
a little bit, no, I'm saying, I think that they have to be a little bit more in-depth in what their capabilities are.
Oh, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I don't know if that's against
Yeah.
our maintenance people, because they probably aren't trained in that.
Yeah,
It becomes part of the RFP, I mean, they have to train for it, so.
Yeah, I've inspected facilities where they bring people in-house to do that work once a year or once every 2 years or whatever. And then I've been at other places where they have the staff in-house or on contract.
I think if you looked at the time, and you consider how many water heaters, considering small ones, every boiler, every water heater, all of it for $3,800 per rounded up, it just doesn't make any, that's a really inexpensive preventative maintenance item. Does everybody agree we should have that on our,
Yep,
I
let's-
100% agree.
I think we should do it this year, and then we should
Twice a
figure out what
year.
to do.
figure out how
going forward
often,
after that.
right?
Put it on your never-ending list of things to do for the facilities.
Do it twice a
So
year.
it's figured out.
That's okay, that's job security.
Yeah.
Isn't there, we have a list somewhere of maintenance items, like, I know one we never do, and that's to check the caulk beads in between, on any, Birdsboro, you can look right into the building for all intents and purposes, because
Yeah,
the
that's a
caulk is
much
gone.
bigger, not to say that it's not a conversation for this group, because it
Okay.
is, but,
Right.
having, we've been trying to get the low-hanging fruit of
100%.
things that need to be done on a certain interval for a while, right?
Right, but as you're going through that, we might consider looking at maybe some software or something that, kind of can look at the buildings and discern,
This-
whatever.
Yeah, I understand you got a list of things to get through, so, but I thought that the software that you've been using to track, repairs had the capability to track, PM.
It does.
Yeah, so that, we do have that in-house.
Part of the issue there is we still have to upload all of our.
And, yeah, and I know
We
it's
have
not
the
happening
ability
yet.
to track, and we do have the ability to set annual reminders for those.
Yeah, so we do have it in-house to do, and it's just gotta happen.
We might want to jump to number 2. No, are you done with them? Is that one?
I'm done with the HVAC update.
Okay. Because if I run late, you'll give me a hard time.
What's in the next meeting?
The replacement furniture and the books have been ordered,
This is for the library?
correct? The furniture and the books that were damaged, those have been ordered. Restore Corps has had their electricians come in and remove the hanging fixtures and prepare for the drywall. The drywall has been hung, and they're in the process of finishing the drywall. And I expect by the end of the week, they will be painted. So we are moving along. Once painting's done, they'll bring back the stationary bookshelves to install around the perimeter, and then they'll proceed to installing the floor system.
Awesome.
Any questions on it?
Can we request some music? The next song, please.
The guards practicing.
Following up on the inspection by, the recommendations based on our insurance company, CM Bridget, the high school auditorium stage rating inspection was completed back in February, and there were repairs that were noted, just in general safety concerns, ropes and the handles, and some of the hardware that's been deteriorating, so
Stadium?
the stage.
Oh,
Stage, auditorium.
Stage.
Yeah, so we're going to conduct those repairs in the summer, when school lets out, so there won't be any interference there. The playhouse at the intermediate center and the playground has been removed due to its deteriorating and unsafe conditions. That was just a simple disposal and fill that area back in with certified playground mulch.
What school?
Intermediate center.
I see.
There was a couple repairs that are necessary on the playground structure itself at the intermediate center. Just minor wear items there. Those parts are ordered and just waiting to arrive to be installed. Hydraulic pressure testing of the elevators in the district is due in April. This is required with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I'm sure everyone is somewhat familiar with that. It's done every 3 years. The cost is $765 per elevator. There's a total of 4 elevators. So it'll be $3,060 for the hydraulic pressure testing.
We don't have to do the ones for the, what's the name of that building? We don't have to do the ones in the old admin building? Yeah, we don't have to do the one in the old admin building?
There's no.
Oh, there's no elevator, okay.
Do we have to prove that as well? Does that get pushed over?
$700?
No, it's $3,660.
Okay. Okay, then if.
Or it's $3,060,
If it needs to be
right?
approved, I.
$3,060.
If it needs to be approved by us,
Yeah.
then yeah, I'd approve it.
Everybody else?
So-
Make it official.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Okay.
Moving forward on the next topic, the middle school door access control system. This has been an ongoing issue with the exterior doors and the access controls for a few years now. I was kind of brought up to speed somewhat by Greg Miller prior to his departure. Since then, I have contacted Berkshire Systems Group, who we are under contract with for our door access controls. And the original equipment manufacturer, they have worked in conjunction to try to keep these doors operating. It's a wireless system. We've pretty much exhausted all options at this point.
I apologize, did you say wireless or wired?
Wireless.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
We've exhausted all options, and based on the manufacturer's recommendations and Berkshire's recommendations, they are claiming that we need to replace that hardware. So
Speaking of Jeff,
typically, from my experience, when replacing this hardware and the components, it's typically to around $5,000 per set of doors. And that would be to hardwire those doors as opposed to the wireless system, which has failed.
What is there, 18 doors in that building?
Well, right now, the main concern is five sets of doors
Oh, so they're the ones that don't want to work?
on the exteriors. They're the most problematic doors.
The most problematic of all.
Not all of them are an issue, but
Okay,
the exterior doors are a major issue,
Okay.
and it really should be addressed from a safety standpoint as well.
so you're saying that we have 5 sets of doors that you're recommending to,
Correct, yes. The company has recommended that we upgrade the current door hardware components to a hardwired system.
that's $25,000?
$17,391
Okay.
by packaging them together.
I have a question. The wireless capabilities have expanded exponentially in the last 5 years. I mean, our network inside these buildings is insanely good now compared to what it used to be. Why would they not? I mean, I know they want to go wired just because it's just easier, less programming. And Isn't
They
it?
withstand the abuse a lot better. Most of the contractors are recommending to use the wireless on the interior side of things. They don't have to deal with those extremes with the weather and the abuse that those doors get. And that technology, you know, is expanding and growing, but the age of this equipment is certainly paying, you know, contributing to these issues,
Right.
despite any kind of firmware and software updates.
Now, was this something that we went out and Berkshire is the only people that are recommending this, or did we have somebody else take a look at it and recommend any other options?
We went directly to Berkshire since we hold a contract with them to maintain that system.
Right.
So we're going off of their recommendations and with the equipment manufacturer.
It's $17,000. I mean, how much aggravation would it take to get somebody else to give us another opinion on what the replacements would be?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I mean, to have
Part
another
of that
opinion.
issue is, in the event that we void that contract because of the warranty issue.
Right.
If we were to go outside of Berkshire, since we had a multi-year contract with them.
Right. So the warranty we have with them now is for the locks, and they're not working. Are they under warranty then?
No, there is no more warranty
Okay.
on the original equipment.
Okay.
They manage the software, they manage the
Okay.
controllers,
And we would still
which is all
have,
tied in with our server.
It's like train.
and they would.
Similar, very similar,
Can't
yes.
get away from them because it's train.
They would still do any maintenance on the ones that are wireless that we would maintain going forward, right?
Is there a difference between the I know what the difference is, but I mean, price-wise, going to a wireless
It's
system?
It's the wires, Mr. Chairman.
I know exactly what it is. I know what I was about to say.
I guess my question, I'm fine, I'm not this for $17,300. My question though is that, you know, why wouldn't we at least have another company look at it and say, maybe they go, oh, you gotta be kidding me, look, these wireless ones are fantastic, why wouldn't we do that? We're just, you know, they're the company that holds our contract, kind of like Train does. You know, they make the recommendation of it. I'm not suggesting other than, you know, the due diligence and cross-shopping multiple places and having things come out is so that we get the best information at the best price and get the best equipment for the lowest hours. Why wouldn't we do the same thing? And just from an information, we still may have to go back to them for them, but, you know, I don't think it hurts to get that information.
You mean
I
go back?
I'm not putting a tent stake in over it. I just know that if we're my company, I'm going to at least find out. I'm going to get at least one other company to come in and say, what's the gig on the wired versus wireless? Why is that such a great thing? And maybe it'll help lower their maintenance contract because they're 10 times easier because they're wired. Maybe they're reducing some expense on their part. And so maybe they'll give us a better deal on the contract for when it comes to the maintenance. I don't know any of these things, but I know that just going with one recommendation, sometimes we can get led versus potentially educating ourselves prior to making the decision. So, but you know, I'm not hell bent on it, so to speak. Anybody else's thoughts on that?
So does it, go ahead.
I agree with that. Honestly, I think you should shop it out.
I mean, it's a phone call. Somebody comes out and gives us an idea of, you know, what's the difference between.
I guess the bottom line is, what does Berkshire say, since we were in agreement with them? Like, I mean, can they shop it out to somebody else?
They're not going to shop it out for somebody else now.
No.
Well, I mean, I thought we have an agreement with them. No? Okay, I misunderstood.
They're not gonna help us look for a different
Right.
vendor,
I thought-
you know, yeah, but that's, you know.
I didn't mean that, okay, I
Yeah.
misunderstood something.
And you know, how, the quote that they gave you on those doors, did they put like a hard deadline on the date, on the quote?
No.
No, so, I mean, it is possible for us to go look around and then come back to it and say yes if we want to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
reality of it is, if we want to look with other vendors, we certainly can.
We might-
Berkshire's not going to be there to help us out when.
No, I
Right.
understand.
I'd not even so much want to go with the other vendor. We can still go to them, but
We
we.
may be looking at additional charges by bringing outside groups in. They may not be willing to do that for free.
I understand.
Right.
I got you. I mean,
My
it's
dad said the answer's
17,000.
always no unless you ask.
It's $17,400. I mean, I don't want to make War and Peace. Plus, he's going to be gone. So, no offense, but you know, the next guy's going to have to carry that toward. Do we have time, or just want to move forward with it? Any thoughts?
That's fine.
I mean,
Yeah, no.
Just move
my
forward.
honest opinion is we've had
I agree.
over 2 years of issues with these doors.
Understandable.
Okay, let's just move forward with it. Everybody agree with that? Just move forward.
Yep.
Awesome. And that's
Next item is storm damage. Over the President's Day weekend, we had some high winds and storms in the area. We encountered some wind damage with the shingles at the middle school. We contacted Simon Roofing, who we had at the intermediate center over the summer doing some work, and they brought one of their contractors, Commercial One Roofing, out. The key was to make sure we were watertight for any upcoming weather, and they came out and evaluated the damage, and then they also provided us with a damage report. But all in all, they arrived on site and took a look at the shingles that had blown off, and it was a total of $621.21 for the emergency repairs. Really not a lot in the grand scheme of things, considering the potential there, but they also presented us with a report that we need to sit down and look at. You know, given the age of the roof and the deterioration from the elements, we're possibly looking at putting together a plan for replacement in the future.
that's the intermediate center, or
Middle school,
the middle school.
yes.
Was the damage caused or covered by insurance?
That minute amount of damage, it's not worth filing a claim over $600. Whether or not we're eligible for any other reimbursement based on the conditions, once we get a chance to review the report, that may change.
Is it leaking anywhere? The middle school building now?
As of right now, I have not been made aware of any active leaks.
Right.
But it's a shingle roof.
Majority of it is, yeah. There is some modified roofing material in certain areas.
So my 2 cents would be that there would be a perfect opportunity to get some quotes, right? We don't have to stick with them. I mean, we can get like 3 quotes.
On the whole roof. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking,
I had-
they're saying the entire roof.
These roofing people sneak in.
But you're still looking over their report, right?
Yeah.
You don't have an assessment until, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Next item is the retaining wall repairs. Boyer Engineering has just recently sent bid specifications for the district to review and approve. They also have to be reviewed by the solicitor before they can approve anything, but we noticed that there's a certain scope of work after discussion with Brian Boyer from Boyer Engineering. There was never an alternative to the original scope of work. So based on what the engineer found and documented, that's what they were basing their repairs on. So this is a question that we can certainly bring up. We have a little bit of time, is whether or not there is an alternate. And the other thing I noticed just today, looking through, I'm sorry, not today, but before today's resubmittal of the spec, they didn't include cleaning the facade, the limestone washing down the brick. So that was to be included in the spec as well.
It was, I thought, rather intensive specifications in terms of cost. When you look at what we're building, it's a retaining wall. I mean, it needs a cap put on it. It's like, I mean, some of these drawings and what they have, and they have material being placed down, and you have to scrape it out and put, barrier blocks and then caulk on top of that barrier block. It's a retaining wall. I mean, Brad even brought it up. Like, I didn't see how long or whatever. They have us drawing rebar and saw cutting these blocks they could put on top of them so they have drip edge. It's like, I mean, I get it, but it's a retaining wall. I mean, I don't think I understand quite to the level of what they're trying to put here together. I didn't look at it. I didn't get a chance to drive over there and look at it, but How many linear feet of repair are we talking about here? And does it match, does their scope of work match the existing walls? Is that maybe where this is coming from too? I mean, I don't know.
You think they're expanding the retaining wall footage?
No, I don't think that at all. It's just, it's rather in depth for,
For a retaining wall?
it's just the cap though, it's bad. I mean, it's been
It hasn't-
leaking. I mean,
It hasn't broken down.
it's not
longer
expanding
estimate,
from what they said in their report, but.
which we can certainly share and look at, but it's close to 400 linear feet.
Okay, so it's a bit, it's a fair amount of it. So are they recommending taking the entire cap off or just where it's
They're recommending all of it,
the whole cap
the
come
whole
off?
system,
I got you.
pull the cap off, and then make the repairs and put the flashing system.
And I haven't been out there, Brett had mentioned, we were just kind of talking the other day. What if we removed the wall and graded it? You don't have any wall now. I mean, is the cost of removal and grade be as much as this cap? I mean, I don't know.
I would
It seemed like it would be a
question whether
fair
or not
amount.
that would even be
Possible. Yeah, I don't know where the grade is. I have no idea, so. Okay.
because that would all require being re-engineered.
And so Boyer's, the engineering company that comes out, has a mason come out and looked at it and just made a recommendation?
That was a engineering firm that did the consultation on the masonry end.
Oh, okay. But, so a mason worked with the engineering group, or the engineering group does
Or
masonry?
the engineering group, I'm assuming he's an engineer as well.
I got you.
And what was the price of the wall?
I didn't get a price.
We don't have a price
Yeah,
yet
that's
because
just-
it has to go out for bid. but
Right.
they're-
How much did they charge for this evaluation? Pardon?
It's a lot from what I remember.
I think the total package that was agreed on was around $8,000 from
Okay.
start to finish for all the engineering services.
Okay.
I thought it was more.
I mean, I know we spent like $75,000 for Thompson to go out and check the middle school out. I mean, the Birdsboro, and they cut a hole in the wall right next to brick that were falling apart. I'm like,
I
we
believe
just cut it out right where the brick's falling apart, and
Kathy
then we
and
can put
I
it back
had looked
together.
into
You know?
that, and I believe it was about $8,000. total
8,000 for it, okay.
for the engineering portion of that. And that was agreed, I don't know how many months ago.
I mean, you've looked at this. I haven't even walked by it. I wouldn't even, I mean, I know where it's at now, and I want to look at it, but, I mean, can there be like a stone cap just put on there and a wall washed? I mean, I'm sure they make them longer too. I mean,
Possibly in certain areas, and there's other areas that have fencing incorporated into that, and then you're talking about potentially increasing more work by removal of the fence and reinstalling
oh, okay. And the vents are for,
the black fence that's built into the cap system.
oh, they're built into the cap, I got you. Okay.
That is the one aspect with what they proposed that came up in our discussions was they can notch those caps around the fence. They don't have to remove the fence
The vent.
and do
The
further
fence, yeah.
damage.
I mean, did anybody else take a look at it? You want to just get a price on it, put it out for bid? I mean, it's going to have to be repaired.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point or
I don't
another.
know if the repair has to look exactly like that.
I agree. It looks pretty, you know, it does to me. I mean, I don't.
I guess,
I mean, it looks like if you put a cap on top and there's a fence post there, it's like a piece of tile being cut around a toilet. You know, just there's brick stalls. You cut it and stick it on there. So to get to what I'm looking at, you know, it looks a lot more. There's a whole, you know, there's a backer rod and sealant. It looks like a lot.
I mean,
How about-
right now, what the language that we're speaking is a little bit beyond my level of expertise. I mean, I understand overkill, but I guess I don't know enough to know better.
I mean, the reality of it is when they started this, there was no direction as to what they were going to do
I
based on the engineer's report. That's what they're basing the bid off of.
Right.
Yep.
There's no reason why we can't ask them for an alternate.
Okay.
I think it'd probably be wise to ask for an alternate. You know, if we're going to tear the whole thing off anyway, and let's say that we had a very expensive cap put on there, not that you want to make it look bad, but there might be an alternative that looks good and maybe less
Now,
money, I
part of
don't
that-
know.
Part of that is gonna have to remember, we're on a limited window
Right.
to
Right.
get these repairs completed over the summer.
Correct.
So as of right now, as it stands, if we were to vote on this on March 28th, then that would put the first posting on March 30th, second posting on April 13th, pre-bid meeting on April 14th, open bids on April 22nd,
Yeah, we're in the
and
summer.
hopefully award the bids on April 25th.
That's tight.
So we're gonna, I mean, there's a little smidge of a window still,
Not much.
not much, but I don't know what it's gonna take to
We don't have a
get
quote on this, right?
Yeah, I
We
understand.
do not have a quote.
the alternate.
The people doing the quote, would they be able to give the alternative versus going back to Boyer for more money from an engineer?
Sure, we could easily change some of the wording in the bid that we are open to discussion for alternate repairs.
Because we don't even know what it's going to
We
cost.
would be able to have like a special, if we needed it,
Yeah.
if we really needed
My-
it. We would be
my
able to have a special
concern-
voting meeting, the beginning of May, but, you know, we are still, if we hadn't voted by the beginning of May, we are in danger of it not happening over the summer.
My concern would just be compromising the structural integrity of that wall and standing behind that repair, that it will work.
But we still don't have a quote.
Hmm?
We still don't have a quote.
Yeah, we probably should get a quote.
Yes, let's start with
I mean,
that.
we're all talking.
If we don't like the quote, go a different direction.
We'll talk about it then, yeah.
I
I
mean,
think that's
We
the way
can
to
put it
go.
out to bid and see what bids.
and I agree with getting the work done in the summertime. I can tell you now, we put antifreeze in mortar and worked through the winter, so I get it. But it's not ideal, but you know, I don't think we could get a bid, and if it's excessive, we could maybe consider options. But we should probably take it to the art.
I think the summertime, we're going to work in the summertime has to do with not having
Not
Kids
having
there,
student
yeah.
population.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know, the folks around the building. So.
gotcha.
yep.
Darn, you had to throw that in there, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it's-
Kids.
Nope, I get it.
Pretty
Do we agree then we should try to get a bid then?
They won't be able to get their equipment in because we'll have them fixing the chiller and the roof.
Right.
That's all I got. We already covered the boiler preventative maintenance.
Yep.
Anyone else?
What's this one here? RFP for the busing and
Yeah, this is
transportation?
the RFP that came in. There was only one person that submitted a bid for the RFP. I did a comparison to show you, I know this is not including rent, this is gross, because when you're doing a budget, I'm going to give you a dollar amount for expenditures, and this would include if you went with this proposal. But the first page shows you what we would go with if we were going to go with this bid. It's a 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, because, you know, the funding formula for transportation is based on the age of the busing. There's a lot of the funding formula is based on that. So when you do the comparison, the first year increase is 47.4% on average, and thereafter, they're looking at a 5.5% year after year.
What was the first year?
47.
47.4%
Increase.
increase.
Year one.
Year one. Now, page 2, I went ahead and showed you the comparison on the activity runs, just to show you in the first year, and that is per hour, 36.8%. And thereafter, you can see my calculations at the bottom. And my page 3 is just a summary of the top part of that is what they proposed. They gave you a little bit of a lower rate if they had older buses, because, you know, it's hard to get buses. Second option, this would reduce our revenue, so I wouldn't recommend even going with this option, because we want a vendor to get as many new buses as they can, because the age really plays a very big factor in how much we get reimbursed. 4 schools in the county are currently in an RFP process. There's 5, there's 4 others besides us. The average run amount right now that's coming in is between $275 and $325. You noted on their bid, they were asking for $399.42. The difference between us and the other 4 is that $275 to $325 includes fuel. The amount here does not. Okay. The contracts have language, of course, for a fuel surcharge. We all know what's going on at the pump. So, of course, there would be some kind of language if you have something. And just to show you where this contractor, what they're suggesting here is for just 60 runs. We're not going to talk about activity. We're not going to talk about bands, lift bands, any special ed, any special whatever. Just for 60 runs. And I think they have 66 buses right now. That would be year 1. A $1.4 million increase in transportation costs. You know, of course, I'm not considering revenue. This is just the expenditure coming in, and you know our revenue because of the buses and how the age is probably about 30-40% of that comes back in revenue, but that's besides that. Year 2 forward would be about $130,000 annually. And this doesn't, of course, include any of the activity or the bands. There's other added costs to that.
And so, wasn't there thoughts that we were going to potentially have somebody else bid on this, maybe from, it just didn't happen? Wow. So they're 25% higher than everybody else.
Oh, massively higher because their actual cost, say $399
That doesn't even include fuel.
It
Doesn't even include fuel? Plus fuel?
And the rest of the county are getting, like, the 4 other people are getting quotes that include fuel. And
These-
between $275 and $325.
These bids public? The
It's what-
bids public? Are they public?
with this
The
one?
bids? Does it end up going out where some other bus company looks at it and goes, ah? You say,
Yeah, I mean, if somebody asks me at this point, it's public knowledge. They can write to know me,
Right.
they can ask me. We asked other districts. There was one bid opening that was happening at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We should have some results in the morning after they get done assessing.
is other districts getting more than one bid, or just all, they always get one bid per district?
Couple got more than
Couple.
one.
Couple got a couple.
Yeah.
I wonder why we didn't get more.
We have a unique situation at Danielville because we're stretched out over, we have a bigger, so some people, I mean, they're waiting for the other bids that they were bidding on to see where this, you know, if we went back out for RFP, it would still allow us more time to get somebody in by 7/1, and it might afford us other opportunities.
Uh-huh.
I don't think we have a
Yeah,
choice, do we?
I think that this bid, I think that we should put it out for bid again.
I agree, wholeheartedly.
Yeah, because I think the list of people, we had a very big list of people that we sent to, but there's others that we have kind of ventured into that we might be able to even send to more people as well. So it would give us I think it would give us another opportunity.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah, I do too.
Is that the same day?
Yeah, I don't know if that one's on the list, but we got another list today.
CMP.
Yeah, they're right outside of Pottstown.
I use them for Christmas and first round.
Yeah, they're really great. They're a really great organization.
Alright. Here, we put it out there.
What's the name of that?
What's the name of that one?
CMD.
CM.
Transportation.
Worst thing that happens is that we get this same one bid back. I mean, you know, that would be the worst thing that would happen, right? So let's.
Might as well
Maybe they
consider
can crunch their
opportunities.
numbers a little bit and come back a little bit.
I don't think there's an option.
You know I can't hear.
I know.
So, okay, so we're going to put it back out. Does everybody agree we're going to put it back out?
Yeah, absolutely.
What they are.
Yep, everybody agrees. We're going to go ahead
And
and,
that should show them
Make sure
that we're
see the art.
not happy with what they're
Yeah.
proposing.
so, yeah,
That would be my.
we're going to put it out for another RFP.
And that should show them that, hey, maybe we gotta look at the numbers again. Now, are they, is this like just the way it's written? Is it these two a company now, or you just, they formed like a merger type of thing?
Well,
on
they
this?
bid it
They bid
basically.
it.
Bid it together.
Yeah.
They bid it together. That's
Okay.
what they do every year.
Yeah.
Oh, is that, okay.
Yeah, that's what
same
they do
month.
every year. That, every year that they put it in.
Right, correct.
How do you know the people in Pottstown?
From Christmas in Birdsboro.
We had to get a bus.
Oh, okay.
They
I mean, that's not
really-
not real far for them to come up here.
Not for extra money, it's not.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm just saying, the average is 285 to 325. I mean, even if they're on the top side, it's still a massive savings for us. Even if we were on the top
they
side,
were
of-
significantly cheaper than every bus company.
I'm saying, but even if they were on the top side of all the other bids in the district, even if on the top side, we'd still be way far ahead on our end.
They also do the town, they do the buses that go around Pottstown. So they use those and then they do Pottsville.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
Don't
did
know.
Pottsville
Yeah.
and Pottstown.
Yeah. They also do the town buses, Pottstown public transportation.
No.
maybe that's the other reason we don't get more bids, because most companies may not have enough buses to do it, you know?
The other thing is that if you have something like the PCIU, all their buses are housed way over on the other side of the county, they would need to find land or something over here in order to put their buses to make it more effective.
Did New Grove themselves?
I think that was a discussion a year ago that they were, or before the when the pandemic.
Pre-COVID.
happened.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah,
I suspect fuel tanks are also an issue.
Yes.
yes.
That's conjecture, just, we don't have them here for them, you know,
Right.
and so that's their problem to solve, but.
Even if we saved $500,000, I mean, it might be worthwhile putting fuel tanks in. I don't know,
Time hurting because they just sold that piece of land.
right?
Who did?
Find it. They sold it to the.
Oh, yeah. That's great. We got a Wawa now, Royal Farms.
Okay.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
I believe that's it then.
There's a lot of people.
Any other thoughts, statements? Going once, going twice? Okay, that
Sold.
concludes our meeting.